All right, so just before I close up this transmission, I just want to kind of, hold on, let me just figure out the zoom here. Show you guys what I did. I know obviously everything's not open and I'm showing everything going together, but I'm just going to kind of explain it. So basically this transmission here was having issues going into second gear. And what I found is the center support, the two bolts that are underneath the valve body that have holes through them essentially, those were loose, completely loose. I couldn't believe it. So I'm assuming that was really the issue with the transmission, why it was losing pressure, not shifting the second properly at wide open throttle. I didn't want to just put the valve body back. I am actually just kind of experimenting here. You guys are going to probably think I'm crazy, but this is a standard valve body. It's not a high output valve body. And I put the springs inside of it based on the transgo kit. There's also a heavier duty spring on the 1-2 accumulator with a better seal, the D seal, I think they call it in the transgo kit. The fourth gear piston that is on the other side of the separator plate, that one there as well has a heavy duty spring, and it has a D kind of seal for the piston as well. Beyond that, I am using the original harness on the car, so I don't know, I assume, because these older valve bodies, from what I understand and what I know, there is no third gear converter lockup. That would probably be around here, I believe. There would be a sensor here. Here or here, I can't remember. I'd have to look. Yeah, right where this wire is, you see it? That's the pigtail there would go to the sensor. So around here, there would be the sensor for third gear lockup. So I just basically left it disconnected. So I assume, and hopefully I'm right and I don't have to drop the pan if I can do this again, but we're just gonna have fourth gear lockup, which I'm okay with. First, second, third, no lockup, fourth gear lockup. That's fine for now. Governor still 87 or Grand National Governor. I didn't tamper with it. I just kind of, this is what I'm doing here. It's just kind of trying to fix this transmission, but also kind of experiment a little bit at the same time. So in theory, if this valve body works well with the 87 Governor, if I were to modify a standard Governor, this setup could go on any other transmission and I could put this back to completely all 87 Grand National valve body with probably the unknown shift kit that was in this car. I don't know what it is. Another thing you'll notice is I did put a sonnex servo in here. I clearanced it to, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, 1/10 of an inch. It's 0.110 is what the sonnex instructions say. I went hardcore on this. I didn't put the big spring in. I went with the aluminum spacer. We're gonna see how she shifts. It's gonna be hard shift at the second, which is what I want. I found I did have this in earlier before I kind of went through the valve body and everything with the regular spring, but I clearanced it too much because I didn't know what I was doing the first time. I ended up welding onto the pin, lengthening it properly, and then spacing it correctly this time around. So unfortunately, I probably lost a little bit of band because it was too loose, but it is what it is. This trans still has some decent life in it. The clutches, I did check them. I can't remember. This is low reverse here. You can't really see it, but they do still have, like, they're not burnt out on anything. I did check that this was working previously. That's going in and out with the air check. It was okay. I did check the other clutches when the valve body was off. Seemed okay. Yeah. I did upgrade the lines at the same time. I took off the factory GM lines. They call these AN fittings. I don't know what the proper term is, but nice braided line all the way to the auxiliary cooler. Can't really see much. All the way to the auxiliary cooler to the front of the car. Auxiliary slash factory rad cooler. I did install this as well. My car wasn't having any issues with this, but I think this is for, oh, I forgot what it's called. It's called the Guppy. It prevents any slippage in reverse. That's what it's supposed to do, if I remember correctly. So yeah, tuck the harness all in. And the filter's on. I'm not taking the shit off because I just literally finished it now. So yeah, we're gonna put on the pan, and I installed the drain plug. Oh man, this is gonna be so much better. You don't understand the bloodbath of tranny fluid that I've dealt with in the last 2 times I dropped the pan. I said that's enough. It's definitely worth it to put a drain plug. in my case, the drain plug will end up being in this area. So, yeah. TV cable's all set. I don't know if I mentioned that in the video yet. Before I put this tranny together, before I'm closing the pan, I've already set the TV. So TV at full throttle is here, right there. And when you let off at basically no throttle, it's a little bit of tension on there, just a little bit. Yeah, you can feel like the piston really kicks in. See, like, just even for reference in the future, like this is very light, and then all of a sudden it kicks here. So look at that, it's like a 1/4 inch before you actually get any, you start feeling the force of the spring and everything. So there's a lot of, I don't know why it's like that. It's interesting though. Yeah, anything else I can tell you? This car has a 3500 stall converter on it, just for reference. So they say that takes a lot of the harsh shifting, so you don't really feel it on the transmission. Sorry, I was just checking something there. You don't really feel the harsh shifts on the transmission, but we'll see. As I said, this is pretty hardcore modded for firm shifts. Also the valve body, the separator plate is drilled out for, they call it mild to wild on the transgo shift kit. So that those holes that had to all be drilled in the separator plate, those are basically on the wild setting. Anything else I can tell you? The only thing that could need to be changed, because again, this is a standard valve body, there is a spring here. I don't remember where it is, but it's basically, I think there's a yellow spring they tell you to try first. And if the shift RPM is not high enough, you have to come back and take out, believe it or not, you take out one of the valve body screws if I find the right one, and you swap the spring, and you gotta pull the spring in while you put the screw back and tension it back in there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Anything else I could tell you? For anyone that's taking apart a tranny, this is very weird, and I found it very sketchy, but it is what it is. I mean, these screws, pretty much all of them, are like, they say 107 inch-pounds, which works out to like literally 9 to 10 foot-pounds of torque. That is nothing on a torque wrench, so that's very surprising. I did not know that. I thought those would be way tighter, but that is what the manual says. And that said, I keep saying that said, there's one more thing. I did hook up, you'll see here, line pressure. So this is the driver's side front of the tranny here. And I just have it kind of tied up. The gauge kind of like just pops over my door right now. But I'm going to try to push that through the firewall. I kind of want to monitor line pressure and try to save on this tranny as long as I can until I end up rebuilding another one if I do. So that's how I kind of came to be that something was up with the tranny. I was pushing around I think like park. The most I was seeing was like over 200 PSI. And you should be closer to 300. So hopefully those two loose screws that maybe, you know, we're losing pressure and such were the issue, but we're going to find out. And maybe I'll post the second half of this video to show you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Leave it at that. And that's a stamping. Before anyone says anything, I don't know what the hell that is. And I think it's pink on this side. And the tranny this valve body came out of had a standard governor assembly. So there's high output ones, so 442 Hurst Grand National, they're standard. And then the last one, it's just the heaviest one, must be like for Cadillacs and stuff. They tell you not to use that one because the governor's too heavy. So that's what the valve body came out of. So standard, I don't know, probably V8 cars that shifted around $4 grand or so. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching.